to You Know the Vibe. I'm your host, Gaetano Charles. Today we're diving into what it's like to grow up as an immigrant, adjusting to a new culture, balancing work, and finding your place in the world. It's not an easy path, but it's one filled with resilience, powerful stories, and personal growth. We've got an incredible episode lined up today with not one, not two, but so many amazing guests today. And I can't wait to hear their insight on this subject. First up, I'm excited to welcome back my dear friend Geneva,
Hi
who's no
everyone.
stranger to the show. She joined us for the last three episodes, and she has been fantastic. She's a technician in
Mhm.
pharmacy, right? Licensed in biotechnology.
For manufacturing.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, hi everyone. Geneva. Just turned 23 actually. Pretty amazing.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, I'm licensed in pharmacy and biomanufacturing. I'm a student and also working full time.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Sophia Shalabi, a career coach who graduated from Leicester University with a bachelor degree in psychology. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so I work in a nonprofit workforce development, and we help people who are learning English find jobs here in Massachusetts. So pretty nice serving people who relate there.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining us. And last but certainly not least, we have with us Lenny Ramirez, right? I get it
Yes.
right? She's a college student at UMass Boston from Republic, who is studying criminal justice and Spanish translations. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I'm 21 years old. I work as a consultant for the Boston City Hall, and my job is to basically help youth homelessness find homes in Boston, and also help them through their immigrant experiences in here in America.
Great to have you here, guys. So let's dive into it today. The first question is: Can you tell us about your journey as an immigrant? What was it like to step into a new world, new culture?
Well, it's not easy. No, it's a new culture, a new world, new languages.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Also new path. So you grew up. Sorry, I'm Haitian. So growing up in Haiti, the English. It was not really a language that you used to speak over there. Mostly it's French and Creole. But coming back here, you have to speak the language, and it's also English or Spanish. So trying to find yourself, find the balance between those two, and also the food are not.
Oh, definitely.
So it's always good to find like good home food. Also, things tend to be different, but at the end of the day, you think you'll get it through, but you just have to really focus on that. I'll say
What
it
about
will
you,
take
Sophia?
time.
Yeah, you. What about you?
Yeah, like you said, it's you're leaving a lot behind when you come to the United States. And like you mentioned, your culture, your food, the family, friends. I think for me, the hardest was leaving back my family, and it's missing them a lot here. But and trying to accustom to the culture here was pretty hard, and to fitting in was pretty difficult. Especially that not only am I from a different culture, but I also hold a different religion than what the majority of the people in the United States hold. So, but I'm honored. I'm honored to be Muslim. So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. What about you?
For me, it was very similar to you guys. I came here from Dominican Republic when I was 8. One thing that I miss is definitely my friends and family. I feel like when I came here it was hard. I feel like I lost an identity, like half of myself here. And then it was kind of odd trying to find what it's like to be an American and like the American identity and like leaving behind who you were in a sense. Because even though you could live here and find people from your country, the connections that you have from the actual country, it's completely different. So yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is. So for the second question, how did you guys adjust to a new school system? How did you guys feel about it?
It was hard actually. I came here 6 years ago. I think I came the last year of high school. It was pretty hard to get in, to be able to. First of all, if you don't speak the language, it's gonna be a whole lot tougher for you to get that. But I think the school system here is different.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, it is way different. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like when I was back home, when I was in school, it's like the things I was learning when I was like in fifth grade. When I came here in last grade of US, it was the same exact thing. So I was like, it's like a way to go back to things that you knew, but in another language.
Yeah.
So it's twice as hard because you know it in French or Creole, for example. So learning that in English and the words are not similar, you have a different way to pronounce them. It's like you try to find yourself over and over again in school and also having new friends. Like she mentioned earlier, you can have people that from Haiti, but it's not gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you might find a little group of people speaking the language at school, but at the end of the day, you need to speak English. You have to. It's like a mandatory thing. You have to. So
Yes, it is. Yeah.
being close to friends here doesn't really mean anything because you're not back in your home country. It's a whole other level. So
But how did you manage that though?
I cried. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you find yourself goal. So you tell yourself, you know, you have to do it. You have to manage it by telling yourself it is worth it at the end of the day because you need to make the money, right? You need to leave. So if you need to leave, that you need to go to school. You need to find yourself the right balance, the right tools, the right people to be able to actually do that. I would say find something that you want to do. The goal, have that in front of you, like your main focus, and it'll get easier by the end of the day.
What about you, Sophia?
For me, so I came here when I was 8, so I was like in middle school, right? So like it's different for kids. I discovered Disney Channel here. And like that was a big thing for me because in school, kids would be like talking about Disney Channel. So that helped me a lot, like trying to connect with kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, one thing that I kind of went through is that even though I am from Dominican Republic, a lot of Dominicans here are light skinned. So a lot of the times when I tried to learn English, they didn't they would put me in French and English classes. So I thought I was learning English, but I was like learning French. And it was like this weird thing where like I had to explain to them that my first language was Spanish. So that was like a weird thing that I experienced in which I was learning French for like a whole year. And then I thought it was English. And then I had to like, you know, after that, they figured out like I was actually like not learning the language. But through like my French friends and like other people, I discovered like Disney Channel and dancing. So that became like a common ground. So when school got hard or difficult, I would always like try to like phrase things that I learned on TV, and that's kind of how I learned to like cope with
That's a good way
the
to cope
loss
with it.
of like not being back home.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. What about you, Sophia?
When I came here, I started the sixth grade, so I was also in middle school. I was 10 years old. And I would say that the school environment was welcoming in a sense. I was actually just a kid, so I didn't have like a lot of responsibilities that many of the like immigrant children have when they come here, as in like, you know, I have to learn this language as soon as possible because I have to translate for my parents. I didn't have to do that because my parents already spoke English, but just being in school and going to school every single day and having homework and talking to friends, that got me to learn the language. Like,
Okay, okay. So let's talk about the cultural adaptation. What aspect of adapting to a new culture were the most surprising or difficult to you guys? Were there a specific moment that made you feel out of place or overpowered or empowered?
To me, it's a sense of race, because back home we don't talk about race because most of us are dark skinned, and the ones are lighter complexion. Race is not a thing. Like you just grew up saying like you're just Dominican. So here I discovered that like I didn't know black. That black was a color because you learn when I was learning English, I learned colors. That was an experience that I was like culturally, it was shocking how important like skin colors were. So like when people call me black, I was always like I'm not a color. That was always to be my answer. But that was shocking to me how like there's such a like predominant like it's something that is like, you know, very divided here.
you're right, I agree. We do see that a lot. When I came here, I also came from a culture where everyone looked like me, spoke like me, and so when I came here and met a lot of people from different cultures and they speak different languages, I'd say it is a cool experience. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I love learning about new cultures, but it was like you said in the United States, it kind of they show it as in we're different, we're not the same. They are their own group, we are our own group. It's not. I wish we have like I know in schools we did discuss like how we can you know have people like have come together and you know not see each other as different but see each other as one. But I guess no one really like no teacher has ever helped in like making that like how can we be friends regardless of what's happening. For me, like you, was also race and a lot like many of those years I know there were like Arab students who did attend in school with me, but they would come and go. So my friends were most of the time people from different cultures. But I guess I made it through. Made it through.
And we made it too.
Yeah, that's true. I think they pretty said everything, but me was a bit different too, because I had to explain myself every single time. Because I was born here, but I was not raised in the U.S. I was raised in Haiti, so when I came here, it was hard for them to actually know that I was American.
Okay.
But so actually, relearning a new culture, the race is pretty dominant here. So it's like you're black, you're white, you're Latino, you're Muslim. So you have to find like, okay, if you're friend with this kind of group, so it's gonna be hard because people will judge you for something like that. Even if you were your own peers, they will judge you. So it's very a tough thing here.
Let me ask you guys, do you guys ever feel like you need to become more American in a way?
No.
No.
Nah.
No?
I made that promise to myself a long time ago
Yeah.
because I never understood what that meant. So it was hard for me to be more American because to me being more American it was like Hannah Montana, like so like I didn't know what that meant. So like it was just easier to just focus on my culture.
Okay. What about you?
Actually, no. I don't even. Usually, I always say I'm Haitian. Even if I was born here, I was like, I do not get the American dream. It's like it doesn't make sense to me. Nah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't really know what American culture is, but coming here, at the beginning, I didn't really understand what it means to have like your own identity and culture. I know I had one, of course, but it's just like I didn't know I needed to like right now. Recently, I started understanding it more. But it was that. Here we go, and I lose my ideas when I have something to say. I'm like, okay, I forgot it. Oh, actually, yeah, I remember like when I came here, how I would hear like the way the people would speak in English, like the white people, they would have like this kind of accent. So I was like, oh, I need to speak it the same way so I can sound like I am
Yeah,
American.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's also the behavior, kind of like how we see how children talk back to their parents.
Yeah.
And so that affects, like growing up here, that affected the way we talk to our parents. Although, like back home, you're not really supposed to shout when you're angry at your parent. Imagine that.
Mm.
We all know we get whipped, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here in the US, our parents also know that they cannot whip us, so we're not going to get that either. So it's kind of conflict. That's what I noticed.
Okay. So, how do you balance embracing your cultural roots while trying to fit into a new environment? Like, what role do family or community play in that process?
Well, there's something called the melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically when you try to put everything in the same bowl and then you mix them.
Yeah.
So you put like the American culture, your culture, the language, everything, and try to mix it so it can be that pot. So I think family, church, also school, they play a big role in you finding your way to that because they will probably guide you. Like church will tell you like they know how to behave, how to be a good person, and school will tell you socially what you have to do and everything. So yeah, like this is one thing that I will try to do more often, like having that melting pot and be that bowl. But at the same time, I don't want to lose the Asian side of me, and I don't want the American to be on top of the Asian side of me because
You wanna balance it.
I mean I'm trying to, but at the end of the day, it's like so hard to balance sometimes because there are things that you would have to do that you have to be Americanized for that, and there are things there are people will that we know you have to find this spot. So I think yeah, you balance it, but you don't want to lose it. It's kind of 50-50 type of thing.
For me, how to balance it, most of the time I don't think about it. Because, like I said, I feel like I have a very low understanding of what it's like to be an American. But for like my culture side, usually music. And the American side, I do have a lot of family that were born here that are a little more Americanized than I am. So, like, that always gives me a little bit like half and half. So, yeah.
Um, I feel like uh, because like it's actually not easy. It's very hard. And like you mentioned, it's actually family that helps. And I know that because right now what I do, I was as a career coach who worked in refugee departments. I do have to like kind of it's not that I do accept myself, or I have learned, my family has taught me to like accept myself the way I am, because a lot of things that I do as a Muslim specifically, not just as an Arab, but as a Muslim specifically, is different than what a lot of people in the US do or believe in. Or like, for example, I have to take minutes to go outside and pray. So it's not that easy to like to tell someone who doesn't really practice that every single day, like, oh, excuse me, I have to go pray. So I have to learn to, just say it the way it is. This is what I have to do, whether you accept it or not. I'm not harming you. You're not harming me. So, and because I am an example for other Muslim people or for other people who are going through the same, um, like on my footsteps, I do have to, accept myself the way I am and just stand up for what I need to do and what I don't have to do, what I can't do either. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you guys: did it ever happen to you guys to racially abused in a way,
In what sense?
like racism?
Racism? Not like right there in my face. Not really. Like I never experienced like blunt racism because I feel like we live in a very like open and woke and educated state, which is great. I heard comments, but the racism that I receive is mostly from the Latin side of my identity. I never received or noticed like black and white racism, at least towards me. Side comments usually work when you work with like nonprofits, always like this weird thing. But usually like racism between like me being dark skinned and being Latina, and that's always like a weird thing where other Latinos that don't view, like black as can be both Latina and black. But the experience is like comments or, oh, you're black and you speak Spanish, like stuff like that, like microaggressions, but never like bluntly, yeah.
What about you guys?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I'll never know, but no, not directly. Like you said, I didn't really experience directly.
Yeah, same here. And actually, I experienced racism outside the United States that I did here. Never directly here.
Outside?
Outside, yeah. So I visited Turkey. I visited like 2 times, and
Okay.
it's so hard for me to say that I am Syrian because when the war in Syria happened, a lot of immigrants went and lived in Turkey. So the Turks sort of kind of started hating the Syrians. So it's so hard for me to say like I'm from Syria. It's so easy for me to say it here, but over there, it's just like you get that side eye, like
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So okay, so I know you from I know you from Haiti. I know you from Syria, right? So can you guys tell me the difference between your culture and the American culture? Just in a few sentences.
Difference. One
Yeah.
of the big, well, I mean, we'll say obviously the language, and also one of the big difference for me will be the food. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's more natural over there than here,
Okay.
so I can not really find a good balance for food. That's my side.
Gotcha.
I would say it's the people.
The people.
The people, yeah. People there are more welcoming. You know your neighbor. Over here, if you don't see your neighbor outside or you don't say hi to them, you don't really know them. You don't actually know them. Like when I think about it, back home, I know who lived in my neighbor's house. I know who they are. We visited each other. We exchanged food. The other big thing actually was the holidays. Like there's a difference between holidays back home, whether it's actually Christian or Muslim holidays. Big difference between back home and here. Back home, you would see more like spirituality and when, like, for example, when Christmas comes, people tend to go to church. People, Muslims and Christians actually tend to invite each other over. But here, it's like Christmas is all about gifts and the tree, and that's it.
Yeah.
It is.
For me, similar. People, community, more welcoming, the environment, the vibes overall. I always say that if Dominican Republic was a man, I'll be happily in love. Because it's like here, people are, I feel like it's a bit colder. Cause like I said, you don't know your neighbors. Like even though if you try to get close to your neighbors, I think you're weird.
That's so
Over
true.
there is like different. It's like, oh, you want sugar? I got sugar. Here it's like, why are you asking me for sugar? So it's like this weird thing where like when you go back home, you feel like everybody's family, and it's easier to ask a stranger for help. Here, I would never, because I don't know what type of mental thing you have going on. So it's like it's so weird because like you definitely it's like it's a different type of love. But yeah, that's the most shocking thing.
Definitely. Okay, so now we're gonna do a little game. We're gonna do a little game. So it's fact or myth, okay? The first one is parents always expect straight A's, no excuses.
Facts.
Fact or myth? Myth.
Facts.
Facts.
Not for me.
No, you have to explain now.
My mom is pretty chill. My dad, he's big on you have to go to school. He's not big on grades. He's big on you pass, we're good. And my mom too. So I never really got the straight A thing. Yeah.
Got you.
Wow.
Second question. Immigrant parents don't let their kids participate in extracurricular activities. Fact or myth?
Myth.
Myth.
Sorry, say it again.
Immigrants parents don't let their kids participate in extracurricular activities.
Myth.
Why?
I mean, here, you have to participate in one. I do
Yeah.
then in schools. Schools mandatory. So I think you have to. And back home, they made me do that too. The last year I went to the choir and I cannot sing. So yeah. Yeah.
What about you? Why?
Here like it's mandatory, and my mom thought it was cool that I was in the tennis team, so she can brag back home. So yeah, it was good.
Nice. I would say for me, it was not really something that my family focused on, but in general, like I know back home, there are families, especially those who are capable financially, they would put their children in extra.
Yeah.
Okay. You were always encouraged to fully embrace American culture over your heritage. Fact or myth?
Myth.
Myth.
Oh, that was so quick.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they will never want me to actually embrace American culture all the way. Because I'm Haitian, I have Haitian pride, so you cannot miss that.
Yeah, same.
Simta?
Yeah.
Great. Let's keep going. You felt like you were living in two worlds, one at home and one outside. Fact or myth?
Facts.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
Two different cultures.
Yeah.
Like you can, when you're here, you're from your culture, and when you're there, when you're back home, you're American. Yeah. So you never feel well. Okay, you never feel like you kind of belong. I don't know, and sometimes you do. If you know how to play, your role right and your culture right, you do.
Yeah. But when you talk about back homes, like back home in our countries, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, at least for me, even though like over there is a bit weird, people over there, the locals always notice that you're not from there fully. It's something about, I always get like the way you walk, the way you talk. It's like, it's
The way
something,
you dress,
yeah,
it's
like
something-
it doesn't click.
something.
So it's like, you always get the comments like, where are you from again? Are you sure? So it's like, that always like reminds you like, oh, I'm not really from here, but I'm from here, but like not fully.
And that
Yeah.
reminds me, when they notice you're not from there, the prices go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Translating for your parents in public was a regular part of your life. Fact or myth?
Facts.
Is it made for you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're
My
gonna say
parents speak
you have to say
English.
why.
Actually, just like you, I was born here. So
Yeah.
my family, they did learn English here, so I don't.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, when
okay.
we came back, I didn't have to.
Well, myth for me, definitely, because my parents live all the way in the 80s, so I didn't have to do that. And they speak English too.
Okay, ma'am.
My facts. My mom has been living here for like 20 years, never learned English. She just said she wasn't going to. So since this day, I'm still her translator. But yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
My life.
Family gatherings were always loud, fun, and full of food.
Facts.
Okay,
Facts,
ma'am.
yeah.
Facts. That's
Okay, let's keep going. Parents were stricter on daughters than sons.
Oh yeah.
Facts, yeah.
Okay. Sophia has to say that. No, no, you have to say why.
You're definitely more protective, you know, like with your brother. It's okay for your brother to come back at 12, but for you, you have to be
Yes.
here, not even at 10. 8, 9, 8, so, you know. And if you're not there, like the phone calls are like coming and going.
Yeah.
Where you
Yeah.
at?
I think somebody's still mad about that.
Until this day, I'm 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Definitely. I feel like the thing of like the whole cooking, cleaning thing, like all that housework is always like the daughter, and the son can just like do whatever and just like be in the background. He's fine.
I mean, I don't have any daughters, so I have to do everything at home.
You will
so.
soon, so it's okay.
What?
You will soon.
I mean, whatever. Immigrant parents are too serious to enjoy jokes or light-hearted moments. Fact or myth?
Myth.
Fact in between, yeah.
In between?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that.
I feel like if it's a topic from like United States that can't relate, they will laugh about it. Like if I talk about something serious that happened, like I don't know, like Trump winning, and it's like my mom doesn't get it. So it's like, but if something like from our country, she's like, yeah, that's serious. But if not, she's just gonna laugh about it. Yeah.
Got you.
Same, yeah.
Same here? What about you?
Also myth, because I think my family, they pretty much understand the culture, so it's not hard for me to joke about it or something like that. So they know the news more than I do actually. So
Okay. The last one. Kids from immigrant household never celebrate holidays like Halloween or Thanksgiving. Fact or myth?
Myth.
in between,
Why?
because I don't do Halloween, so it's like a no for me. But I do Thanksgiving, kinda.
What you mean Thanksgiving?
I mean, kinda, because basically most of the people go to work on Thanksgiving, so it's actually hard to celebrate Thanksgiving if you don't have the day off or something. So and back home we don't have Thanksgiving,
Yeah, that's true.
so it's kind of in between.
What about you?
Myth. I have 8 sisters, and most of them have like either born here. So like my mom just very like just do whatever. Also I think it's based on like if you're really religious as a whole, like that could be also involved in celebrating holidays.
Okay.
That's true. Exactly, yeah. We celebrate Thanksgiving just because like the idea of it is to thank God. So we do actually like do invite friends and family, and we have these big feasts. And then at the end of it, we gather around, and it's just like, what are you thankful for? Everybody goes around. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one more question. Let's say you have a kid right now. You're gonna raise that kid as an American or like your parent did to you?
Definitely like my parents.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our cultures are very valuable. You know,
It
they
is.
make us who they are. So hard to raise them any differently. But I think we also need to be understanding that they are not, that what they're going through is not the same as what we went through or what our parents went through. Because I mean, I do think my parents had more expectations of me, but I did not go through what they went through. So I'm just like, can you understand me a little bit? Yeah. So.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I'll raise my kid if I ever have a child. Like, I'll raise it to value both, but at the same time, I feel like I'll just raise them fully, like my identity. You know, I'll like make sure that they know what it's like to be Black in America, what it's like to be Black in Dominican Republic, and what it's like to have an ethnicity and like the differences between them, and just basically have an identity of their own. But at the same time, like kids are gonna choose whatever they want to, but just help them to the right path.
Definitely. So What advice would you give to other young immigrants who are struggling with school and adapting to a new culture? What message do you have for school or communities to better support them?
Well, one thing is their mental health's gonna suffer. That's one. But I think they have to focus on that too, because you're an immigrant, so you have a new culture ahead of you, so you will be pretty shook. So I think one thing that they can do is give you the full support on your mental health and also socially, like telling you that you're worth it, and they can hold your hand throughout the process. I think one advice will be to when they get here, the best thing they can do is like try to find a group of people that they can relate to, and those that been here before that can help them towards what they have to accomplish. Because if you're not someone a good support, it's gonna be really hard for you to fit in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna say that like you're not the only one. And if you are alone, like at the end of the day, like you're like I said, you're an immigrant. But I always think about the fact that like I'm the first one in my family doing whatever I'm doing, whatever that looks like. So if you're struggling in school, if you're struggling at work, just think about the fact that you are being independent, and then you're gonna look back when you're like 60 and think about the fact that you went to school by yourself, you graduated by yourself, and did everything by yourself, when a lot of people in your family didn't have that opportunity to do it. So that should be like enough motivation to get you through, basically break generational barriers.
True.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and first of all, listen to your parents. You know, sometimes we do that to argue because they think differently versus what we see in the culture, or at least what's going on around us while we're in school and what other people are doing. So we tend to kind of wanna do exactly what they're doing, but we should listen to our parents when they say don't do it because they know what's best for us. And stick to community. You know, find people who are like you, who share common life stories and similarities in terms of your culture and religion, and they'll make it easy for you, at least. You
Yeah.
know.
So I think it's a wrap for today's episode, and a huge thank you to you guys. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing your experiences, your insight on that subject. Because all of us, we are immigrants, and we know what is it to struggle with that. We know what it is. So remember, no matter what, no matter where you are, value your heritage, value your culture, because it's okay to be American, but at the same time too, when you share another culture, it's great. And one thing I always say, when you can speak multiple languages, that's a plus too. That's a plus. Definitely, that's a plus. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.
Next time.
Thank you.